Violet Evergarden episode 5 was a pretty good episode because I feel like there's a lot of things that is actually hinting towards us and leading to new stuff that can happen throughout the season. A lot of people say that this episode's been time skipped a lot. I sense there may be a little bit, but I don't think there's a lot. I feel like the previous episodes have actually hinted a lot of things that actually progressed her up to this point. And I think it's actually a reasonable amount. I don't think there need to be another filler. I feel like this amount of filler is actually enough to actually like fulfill the whole like character progression that she has right now at this point. One of the things was when Princess Charlotte asked how old Violet Evergarden is, and actually she's only about 14 years old. I was kind of surprised at first because I never knew that she was about 14 years old. I thought she'd be probably around 18 years old, 17. I'll give it like that. But like I think it's just that she's really young, and like Gilbert, Major Gilbert, he's probably about in his 20s, his mid-20s at that time, and it's kind of resembling how the story of Princess Charlotte and Prince Damien is like. And it's just, you don't know what's it going to be like. What's the relationship going to be? What does Major Gilbert actually feel about Violet? But if you go back to the culture, people usually get married around, as they said, about 10 years old is like the age when people start to get married, and like the husbands are usually like pretty old in this case. Like this huge gap is kind of awkward for us. Like marrying someone 10 years younger than me, it's just like, whoa, that's kind of illegal here. But over there, it's like, oh, it's very socially acceptable. So it's in a way that we have to accept the culture in there in this anime to actually understand what this is going to be about in the future. Because it's really important to know that culture in order to progress. Like, what does it mean to love someone in Violet Evergarden's like anime? It kind of begs this question: does Major Gilbert love Violet? And if he does, in what way? Like brother sister or like a couple? At the time of era, like marrying really young is socially acceptable. So like it's just a culture they're trying to bring up. It resembles what the culture, the time of the era was like. Second thing I noticed is that she is actually getting better at writing letters. And when Princess Charlotte was writing their first letter, she wrote a pretty good cheesy letter. So I think it's just that, oh, she's actually getting up to the standard of what the society wants her to write. And in a way, I feel like this is actually a really good way of showing her progression. And what I mean by cheesy is that I feel like she was writing a letter that's good, but it's good for society to think. And like a lot of times we can see in this episode that there's a lot of people who are crowded, like who was looking at the letters that they were sending to each other. And they're really cheesy ones that people that expect to see in a novel. And it's not like a true word kind of feeling. In a way, I feel like Violet is improving, but she could have improved even more by experiencing more like real talk, you could say. The thing is, when we look at her previous episodes, we see that she's been learning how to think about love and from people's experiences, people's true experiences, feelings, and not from the outside. What we see in the letters are the people who view things from the outside, like love letters that are really cheesy, things that we see on the outside, but we're not looking at things from the inside. That's why I think she could have improved even more. But she's improving little by little. And that's what I mean by previous places they can actually hint towards how she's progressed up to this point. There's still a lot of room for Violet to grow, and she's not like up to the point where she's like, oh, she's good at letters, okay, done. Also, Violet noticed that Prince Damien's letters were also having this sort of style that she recognized. And I think that through recognizing that style, she actually realized it was Catalea who was writing the letters for him. And that realizing that style means that she could be learning from Catalea a lot. So she could be in the background, like learning how to write love letters, really good ones from Catalea. So it's kind of hinting that she's been learning a lot, like she's getting to know other associates about her style and like what it is to write a good letter. And like I feel like Catalea is kind of like teaching her a lot. And speaking of Catalea and Violet, there was this one scene that really actually caught my eyes. And it was a part when she was actually smiling. And I mean, like, you don't see her smile that often. I mean, like, she was smiling when she was looking at the scenery. And I feel like Violet really loves like beautiful scenery. Like she's been going through a lot of places that like say in the war at that time, and she just couldn't see anything that's beautiful. And seeing beautiful scenery as she progresses throughout the episodes, like she's like making herself like more emotional. She's actually experiencing happiness, love in a way, and she probably doesn't even notice it. Also, her trying to make those really weird expressions here, I think that scene was actually pretty funny, and it also kind of hints that she's actually getting a lot of interaction behind the scenes in her company. I feel like perhaps that like she's been talking to like her associates, and her associates just like Erica or Iris, they say, oh, if someone says that you're not smiling a lot, just do this, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, she's trying to find a solution to help her static face, her static expression that she's trying to resolve. Last but not least, I feel like in the last bit of the episode, it shows a little cliffhanger of where it shows like how her previous associates or previous like people that she's met before actually mentions about how she killed like one of the associates, or maybe murder. We don't know what's happening. It's kind of like a big cliffhanger. I feel like it's gonna be a lot of action in the next episode, which is what everyone likes to see. Nobody wants to see like a boring episode, but like, yeah, I feel like this is gonna be a nice episode coming up. So that's what I gotta say. It's not a lot, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys enjoy Violet Evergarden even more. Anyways, my name is Jacky. I'll see you guys next time. All right, bye.